from 10 to 11. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Look up on the wall, there on the floor, under the pillow, behind the door. There's a crack in the mirror, somewhere there's a hole in the window pane. Now do you think I'm to blame? Tell me, do you think I'm to blame? You're never there when they show it. You stop and
Good morning and happy reflective MLK Day. What a great weekend for Memphis basketball teams. The Tigers beat down UTSA. When I saw that line, 21.5, I thought, you know what? This team always plays down to the level of the team. I was certain they would beat UTSA because UTSA is not a very good basketball team. In fact, one of the worst in the country. But they covered, and they did a pretty good job. Then the Grizz, or really before, they got a historic appearance from Ja. Yeah, he played. And the Grizz evened things up with Orlando on the European vacation. And then he hinted he wants to stay a Grizz. More on that in a second. Breaking news this morning. I'm sure that Greg and Eli discussed it. But the Buffalo Bills, in the wake of an overtime loss with some crazy calls at the end, have fired Sean McDermott. McDermott in 9 years won 98 games. 98 games in 9 years. 98-50. Made postseason 8 times, had 8 postseason wins. So I ask you, Landon Schmidt, if you're the owner of the Buffalo Bills, who happens to be, the parents of the great tennis player Pegula, if you were the Pegulas, would you have fired Sean McDermott?
It's a tough question because if you look at all of the firings, the common theme is all of these guys have not been able to get over the hump. They haven't been able to win the big one.
Well, Harbaugh won a Super Bowl.
He did, but that was a while ago.
It was.
In recent memory, all of these coaches have not performed. Like Kevin Stefanski, last 2 years have been bad.
Two-time coach of the year. It's not his fault they don't have a quarterback. I think ownership, and the tickets are sold. The television revenues come in because the ratings are amazing. I don't really believe there's that much pressure to win. I guess it's their own ego and their competitiveness. Here's a guy who's taken you in 9 years 8 times to postseason and really gets the raw end of the deal and some calls late in the game. He's still got Josh Allen. I would not have fired him, at least until after Josh Allen just can't do it anymore. Because that's a combination that has worked, that hasn't gotten you a Super Bowl. Only one team wins the Super Bowl. I just thought that was crazy. Tonight we got Indiana and Miami. That line, Landon, is down to 7.5. It was 8 when we made our picks. That means the money is coming in on the home team, Miami. I still think it will be the Hoosiers that walk away. By the way, in picks this week, and I'm not happy about the Bears. I won that game with our picks because of points, but
more on that later.
That was right there to be had. More on that later. Jeff Moore will be with us to talk about it. But I was 3-1. You were 2-2. We both have the same pick today, so no ground will be made by you. So, the Tigers yesterday, and it was really nice because there is no MLK Day for the Grizz, and they're going to get a rust from me later on that. Shame on the NBA for not having MLK Day here, but I guess they wanted to showcase Ja Morant, which is all right. In Europe, he played one of the two. Nike had set up a whole big thing in London, so I guess that's why he played. But the Tigers cover a 21.5-point spread. They win 95-69. They had a shaky first 10 or 12 minutes. Then they exerted their superiority because they are really pretty good. Doug McDaniel, this dude just does everything all the time. And he did it this time in only 30 minutes. So usually he plays 36, 37 minutes. He had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, a block, and only 1 turnover. He was amazing. Sincere Parker, he got 22 points in the game. I'm going to give him a medal a little bit later. The guards, by the way, were really excellent rebounders last night and ended up winning the rebound battle. The Tigers really win the game in the second half. They led by 10 at the break, but really with about 2 minutes or so left, it was only a 5-point game in the first half. So they finish with a flurry, and then they pull away when they go to a small lineup in the second half. They only turned the ball over 4 times. They had 23 assists in that game, which might have been a season high. Their new calling card is defense. They did a pretty good job on that. They limited the hapless Roadrunners to 41% shooting. They were 29 from 3. The U of M is one of the better by field goal defense on threes, one of the better teams in the top 25 in the country, holding teams at 29%. That played a role in the game, and that seems to be what they will rely on is defense. So now they will go on to play at Tulsa on Wednesday. They're not coming back, by the way. We're all going to travel on Thursday to Wichita. It's only like a 3-hour ride or something of that nature. Go to Wichita on Saturday, and then we'll come home to play midweek against FAU, a team that leads the conference at 5-1. The Tigers are now at 4-1. Those are the only 2 one-loss teams. Believe it or not, and I've got this in medals, the American had 6 games yesterday. Memphis was the only team of the 6 that hosted that won the game. 5 road teams were winners yesterday. That's just amazing. So, in other words, USF, Tulane, and Temple all were at home, all with 1 loss, all basically got beaten. USF in overtime to Wichita State. I'm not sure how good they are. We're going to find out. They're big. The UAB lost at home to Tulsa, the team the Tigers play next. And by the way, they really can shoot threes. 99-77. That's crazy. So the Tigers were the only home team to win, and I was getting at this earlier. Because there was no MLK Day with the Grizzlies, and there was no symposium, which we have come to love, the Tigers had an MLK Day in conjunction with the Civil Rights Museum, which, in my estimation, is world class. My wife and I have traveled around the world. We've been everywhere. We've been a lot of places. I grew up at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, which is an amazing museum. I've been to the Smithsonian. I've been to the Newseum, which is all about television and broadcasting and radio and newspapers in Washington, D.C. with the Smithsonian. I will just tell you, if you've not ever been to the Civil Rights Museum, you need to go. And they're going to have, like, I think the head of the Civil Rights Museum told me yesterday they expect like 7,000 to 8,000 people touring today, and it will be with people from all over the world who've come in. But the Tigers are now going to do a thing everything around MLK Day every year now in conjunction with the Civil Rights Museum. World class. Please go. And you'll be moved, I promise you. And they honored Herb Hilliard, the first African-American basketball player ever to come to Memphis, and he was on hand. So was Bertha Looney, who was one of the original Memphis State 8 that integrated the school. I believe she's the last surviving member of the Memphis State Eight, and they honored her there. So it was very, very moving and a really good day on a lot of different fronts. And the Tigers are now in a battle, as we suspected. You want to be in the top two of the American, and that's where they stand right now. And now they're going to go through a 3-game test, as we mentioned, that will really be the barometer. Is this team the team we thought it could be? Will they have Bradshaw? Will they have Thetford? Thetford, I'm pretty sure, will play against Tulsa. I think Bradford is still up for grabs. We'll wait and see on all of that. And then you come home to play the team that appears to me to be the best team. They've got an all-conference player in a guard named Vanderpool, and they've got a freshman, Josiah Parker, who was the preseason freshman of the year in the league. The interesting aspect on that is that he didn't play very well to begin with, but he was starting to catch on as the conference picked up, and he was probably the biggest reason why they were winners on the road against Temple yesterday. He had a double-double. He looked unstoppable. It may be that Temple is just a little bit weaker inside, but he hurt Memphis too. And so FAU, to me, on paper at this point, or from what I've seen, appears to be the best team besides Memphis in this league. And look, they beat the heck out of the U of M. So this will be a great answer, provided the Tigers at least split. But pretty much, you almost feel the pressure to sweep on the road against a Tulsa team that has been up and down. Great start, got lost a couple of games you didn't think they would lose, and then they just go on the road to Birmingham yesterday and wipe it up. And, Wichita State upset South Florida in their ballpark. They had a 15-point lead. It fell apart. They got down double digits. They came back, tied the game. They fell behind in overtime and came back and won it. So, going to be a crazy, crazy year. So, Ja plays yesterday in London. He got the loudest applause of anybody in the ballpark. And by the way, both those arenas, but in particular the O2 Arena, our friend Jarvis Greer, who will be with us, I hope, on Thursday, Jarvis was putting out pictures and videos. The place looks fantastic. I think it seats 18,000 too, so it's a big arena in London. And the biggest cheers were for John Morant. And what did he do? The guy had 20 points and 10 assists in the first half. That's historic. No Grizzly has ever done that in the first 24 minutes. Ever. In history. Think about that. 20 points, 10 assists, first half. He ends up 24 and 13. He did, I think he only played 28 minutes, so he was 2 minutes under what the restrictions would be. The guy was in those 28 minutes plus 26. He made the difference. That's the difference. And even Orlando said the difference in their win in Berlin, even though that was an all Orlando crowd because 3 of the players on the Magic are German national teams members. So that was like a real road game. This was a home game for Memphis, and I think more fans were for Memphis than were for Orlando, but a little more neutral. But Ja just changed everything. He actually hit 3 threes. And after the game, he said, if you know me, you know I'm a local guy. A loyal guy. Not a local guy. A loyal guy. I'm a loyal guy. And then, quote, I got a logo on my back. Should tell you where I want to be. So in 2023, he had a tattoo put on his back of a grizzly. It sounds to me that he hinted pretty strongly there. He wants to stay. What will Zach Kleiman and company do? Because it's a dilemma. He had to. People saw what he did yesterday. That was a global world thing. The commissioner there, everybody's watching this game that's an NBA guy. And he put on that kind of performance. So the worst that you could say about it is he upped his trade value. I don't know how much one game really means, but think of it. 2 of the last 3 games, he had 40 against Philly, and then he has this overall performance where he's plus 26 in 28 minutes, hits threes, has 20 points and 10 assists in the first half. Are you kidding me? He ups his trade value. But now he hits, he wants to stay. So I have no idea what kind of offers Zach Kleiman and the Grizzlies front office was getting. But, you know, they're now 18 and 23. They move back into a tie with the Clippers for the 10th spot of the play-in. If he comes back and plays, and then Zach Edey comes back in the next 2 months for some sort of a run, maybe they could win a play-in game and get to the playoffs. And then who knows what happens. 18 and 23 now. Boy, at one point they looked invincible. They built a 33-point lead. They shot 53%. They had 13 threes, had 31 assists. To show you how deep they are, they were bench points 53-31. I mean, they killed Orlando. And that's a decent Orlando team that's going to make the playoffs in the East. So, definitely a dilemma now, because he let it be known, and he hadn't done that before. He let it be known he's not the one that wants to go. It's the front office pushing him out. Now, some of that may be availability. Maybe he'd been pouting and he didn't want to play and he forced their hand. Maybe now he's rethinking it. I don't really know. I'm not on the inside. I don't know that dynamic, but there certainly seems to be a disconnect. I don't know if it's with Isolo. I don't know if it's with Kleiman. I don't know if it's with both. But there's that disconnect. But he made it known after that game yesterday when he said, I got that logo on my back. That's where I want to be. He wants to stay in Memphis. In the department, if you're looking for something new that might be interesting, you know, pickleball's the big craze in this day and age, right? There's a place in Germantown called Pickleball Kingdom. I hear it's a really cool venue. I've never been there. But now they're doing a thing, and some friends of mine have put this together. It's called a Run and Gun Pickleball League. And basically, they're not looking for players. They got the best players, like the top 18 players in Memphis in pickleball, compete every Monday night in their little league in some sort of a tournament thing that builds up. It's every Monday, and it's free. So if you want to go see this place, if you want to see the best players, and if you're an aficionado of the sport and you'd like to learn more about it, you want to see the best in the area play, like they've got some former tennis pros that are now in it that are pickleball guys, because a lot of these guys, like I saw Andre Agassi do this. He went and started playing pickleball, and he's good. Obviously, he's good. But if you want to see how the really good ones play and the strategy of the game and why everybody's crazy about it, head on over Pickleball Kingdom every Monday night, where you'll see the best players in the area compete. All right, we've got lots to cover today because Jeff Moore's going to join us on what we saw with the NFL. 2 of the games just incredibly intriguing. Only one massacre, and that was, I have no idea what San Francisco didn't show up like Memphis' basketball team in Boca. They just were not there. They got, or maybe Seattle is just that good. I don't know. But we will talk about that. The other games were all pretty compelling. Even with the Stroud 4 interceptions, the Texans hung in that game with New England. And isn't New England now got to be the favorite after that incredible Denver game? Denver comes back to win the game, and their star quarterback, Bo Nix, who everybody has ripped on, has this great drive to get to overtime, wins the game playing on a broken ankle, which he's got to have surgery. And now Jarrett Stidham is going to be the quarterback against New England? Oh, my goodness. He hasn't thrown a pass this year. Somebody sent me this today. This is a great picture. Years ago, when Stidham was the quarterback at Auburn, there was a recruiting picture of a guy who came in, a hopeful recruit. It was Bo Nix. He took a picture with Stidham in the locker room as he was being recruited at Auburn. Good. You can't make this stuff up. It's always good stuff. As I sit in the Family Leisure studio, don't forget we got the new sale, the Floor Model Spa. It's happening. It's time to make your move because they've got to make room. There are deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-store stock. You can get hot tubs, you can get cold plunges, swim spas. They're all there. If you've been dreaming about a new spa, now is the time to do it. Spas as low as $99 a month. The $8,000 swim spas, only $150 a month. You can make it happen. Free LED lights and waterfalls on most models. It's the coolest. All you got to do is get there, I-40 and Whidden Road. Tell them we sent you to Family Leisure. We take the break. Jeff Moore on the NFL. That comes your way in just a minute.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com. Paid for by Stellus Pharma.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in on this Martin Luther King Day Monday. Jeff Moores always joins us. Good to have you. Thank you for coming out on MLK Day. Do you guys make it a special day at the Moore household?
We do. We just try to make time to listen to some of his speeches, to see if there are an opportunity to do some community service. we've been to the basketball game that they've had on this day in the past. So yeah, we just take time to reflect about what a great man he was, and the work that still needs to be done.
Tigers did a nice thing yesterday. They brought out Herb Hilliard, the first African-American basketball player, Bertha Looney, who was, well, the last survivor, I think, of the Memphis State 8 that integrated the school way back when, and had these T-shirts that had on the back, on the front, I Have a Dream, and then on the back a picture of Martin Luther King. It was nice, and I think they're going to try to do a thing every year. Look, this is the Grizz thing, and I'm mad at the NBA, because it was Michael Heisley, Andy Dolich, Michael Golub when they were here.
Yeah.
They started this thing.
They did,
and the league caught on to it and realized, now that's why they got 3 or 4 games on today,
right?
All afternoon. And Memphis did it, and the symposiums were always incredible.
They were great,
and they've taken that away the last 2 years, which is shame on the NBA for that. And I think they've sort of directed more of this stuff to Atlanta. So, but anyway, let's get to the NFL. That's what you are here for. There were 2 incredible games. A third game that was, believe it or not, Houston hung in, even though their quarterback kept throwing the ball to the wrong team. And then the one blowout. Your thoughts about the divisional weekend?
Man, I was pulling for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get a win. And it was kind of heartbreaking to see him, as much as he had to carry this team on his back and be Superman, to get to this point, to just have some really bad plays toward the end of the game that cost him. So that stood out to me. And then I was convinced that the Texans were going to go into New England and beat the Patriots with that incredible defense. And Dave, it had gone over my head that TJ was playing that poorly, but I'm looking at the look in his eyes and his body language, and I was telling whoever I was watching the game, I'm like, I don't like the way he's looking. And he played like he is what we call in his head in terms of the bad play. He's playing not to make a mistake.
Well, that's 2 games now.
Yeah.
Both playoff games, they survived the first. They were fortunate because their defense is just so good.
Yeah.
They couldn't survive this time.
And his second game was worse than the first. So, I mean,
do you think that stays in his head forever now? Is that something you can overcome when you played so bad in big spotlight games?
It's going to be I've seen it ruin quarterbacks, and I've seen quarterbacks be able to get over it, and that's the big test for him, because I think Tom Brady made the reference. It's like he's chasing his rookie year. His rookie year, he was fantastic. The last 2 years, he's been so-so. This year, certainly better than last year, but it seems like he's pressing, and he doesn't need to press because the team that he's got around him doesn't need him to do that, and that's unfortunate to see. The Rams going into Chicago, I just knew Chicago was going to beat them at home.
They had them.
In that minus 1 degree temperature, and the Rams were leaving 70-degree temperatures. But I was so impressed with how the Rams played. They didn't make mistakes. They didn't let the weather bother them. Neither team did, for that matter. And they played mistake-free, well-coached football, and the Bears still had a chance to beat them. So, I'm really excited about the future of the Bears. I love it when the Bears are relevant. I love the way that this team has turned it around just this year in Ben Johnson's first year as the head coach.
Well, that's, I cannot tell you how many texts I've gotten. People know where my heart is. And my answer has been, it really was a great year.
It was a great year.
And the reason I say it was a great year, because if you think about it, after that miracle throw and catch by Kmet, the tight end, to tie the game, and then the defense stops him and you're driving, you probably should have won the game, but you didn't. I mean, Caleb, who giveth, he took it. He taketh away too, because I don't know if Dave Moore ran the wrong route or what happened on a 2nd down and 4. You didn't need to go deep like they did, but I didn't expect that this year. I was hoping the Bears would be close to 500.
Yeah.
Let alone win the division, win a game, get to the home field advantage for a second playoff game. They are way ahead of schedule in the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams era. So I walk away going, okay.
Yeah.
Like I got to tell you, when he threw that unbelievable pass going backward, jumping, and finding Kmet in the end zone, I raced home after the game, actually to my youngest son's house. I watched the whole fourth quarter of the overtime. When he hits that pass to Kmet, simultaneously, all three Wolo guys, hey, we jumped up and hugged. I mean, it was like
it was amazing.
Unbelievable. So I will remember this year very fondly, even though it ends in the divisional round.
Yeah.
Now, I have to go back to the Denver-Buffalo game for two different reasons. One, breaking this morning, that the Bills, they fire Sean McDermott. The guy was 98-50. 9 years there. He 8 times takes them to postseason, had 8 postseason wins. I know it didn't work. He had one this year. I don't understand why you pull the plug on him, especially since, unless Josh Allen doesn't like him, which I don't think is the case, I don't get that firing. What do you think?
I think we're at a place in the league now where it's what have you done for me lately? And you see the perfect example, Chicago, bring in a guy who's never been a head coach, and he turns the whole culture of the team around, gets them in a position where they're one game away from playing for the NFC Championship. In the AFC, in his division, they bring in a new coach. He changes the culture, and he's going to the AFC Championship. You know, Sean McDermott is a good coach, probably a better coordinator than a head coach, but he's a defensive guy. And their losses in the last few playoff games have been because the defense let them down. So I do understand the move. It's tough, but that's why they get paid the big bucks. Those teams are looking for championships. They're not looking for playoff. And that's a good standard.
You think he gets hired?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, somebody's going to hire him.
As a head coach or as a
I think
DC?
he'll be hired as – I wouldn't be surprised to see him hired as a head coach because of his resume. So I'm anticipating he may get one of the head coaching
98-50. That is a pretty impressive record, for sure. The other aspect of that game is Bo Nix. Bo Nix, who engineered an unbelievable drive to tie the game to get to overtime. Bo Nix, who comes in, breaks his ankle, doesn't realize it's broken, and still plays.
Yeah.
And they win the game. Couple of crazy calls, and they win the game with a field goal. That to me was unreal. And now he's got to have surgery. He's not in. The backup, Jarrett Stidham, hasn't thrown a pass this year.
So that was a great game for Bo Nix. There was a lot of pressure on him. People have talked about the fact that he's been up and down, and the Broncos have been winning in spite of his play with that great defense. So it's unfortunate. I mean, that's the game. I mean, guys get hurt, and it's unfortunate to see him go out that way. But I was really delighted to see him have a good game where he played within himself and didn't have costly turnovers. And I think the Patriots better be, if they're assuming that Sean Payton won't be ready with this backup quarterback, they're making a mistake. They didn't really require a lot from Bo. I mean, he's the starter. There were things he had to do, but I think that Sean Payton will have this team ready to play, and the Patriots certainly will be ready to play as well. It'll be a good game, I think.
Don't you think you have to make the Patriots big favorites here?
Oh, yeah, you do. You do. I mean,
even though it's in Denver now.
It's in Denver. It's but the quarterback is such a critical position, and it's really hard to come off the bench after not playing 2 years and be effective in the AFC Championship game. But if anybody can get their quarterback ready, I think Sean Payton can do it.
And in the NFC, we talked about the Bears. We haven't talked about Seattle. I mean, Seattle, in my mind right now, has to be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. The way they played the Rams in Seattle again. They did that a few weeks ago and beat them. What they did to San Francisco, That is truly unbelievable. It started right off the bat with a kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I've seen where that's happened, and the team doesn't win after that.
Yeah.
Everything settles in, and emotions are. They just kept going.
Yeah. And, I picked Seattle a few weeks ago to win it all. I just think they have the most balance on offense and defense. They've got guys that can really hurt you on offense. Their defense is really very sound. They don't make mistakes, and they tackle really well. And, of course, they know this Rams team. The statement that they made with the way they beat the 49ers said a lot to me. I think the Rams are going to have a tough time trying to beat them in Seattle.
So here, the Patriots are 5.5-point favorites. That would probably be close to a pick'em game if Bo Nix were healthy, maybe even Denver by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks are only 2.5-point favorites over the Rams. I'm a little surprised at that.
Well, when they played during the season, the games have always been close. The last game was overtime. Because they're division opponents, they know each other well. They play each other well. There'll be no surprises. It'll just be lining up and see who is the best offensively, defensively. But I think the Seattle's defense is just a little bit better than the Rams, and the Rams played well in Chicago. Their secondary really played well. Seattle just has too much.
Seattle has a running game.
Yeah.
The Bears actually had 160 yards on LA's defense yesterday.
Yeah.
But Seattle got, and we should mention this because he's a Memphis kid,
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker.
He was having a great year.
116 yards and 3 touchdowns in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's playing really well. This team is playing well. Sam Darnold has been keeping the ball out of harm's way, which was a question going into the playoffs, how well he would play. This team is ready. I think they're hungry. They're ready, and they're going to be difficult to beat.
You think Josh Allen will ever win a Super Bowl now? I'm thinking the window's closing now that they fired their coach. That says something to me too.
It'll be interesting to see who they bring in. I don't give up on him yet. He's 30 years old. He's still got some good football left. If they can get the right players around him, we'll see. But, those guys that weren't in the playoffs this year, the Lamar Jacksons, the Joe Burrows, the Patrick Mahomes, may be lurking next year. We'll see.
What do you think about Harbaugh? I guess 5 years, $100 million. Is that what he got? Unbelievable. And he reports to the owner, not to the GM, who's not his GM.
Oh, wow.
But he goes to the New York Giants. He was vetting teams. It's not like he was getting vetted. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about the Baltimore firing, too. But what do you think about Harbaugh to the Giants? Does that turn them around with Jackson Dart?
I think they've got a really good chance to be better under Coach Harbaugh because he's just very disciplined. He knows how to set the culture in an organization. I think he'll get a good offensive and defensive coordinator and hopefully a good quarterback coach for Jackson Dart so that he can really develop. But I think their chances are really good to get back on track with a really solid head coach like John Harbaugh.
And then Stefanski to the Atlanta Falcons. You know what? Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. Things were awful in Cleveland. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
But a lot of that should have been on the GM and the front office for not providing him with a quarterback.
Yeah.
And so, you sit there, you shake your head a little bit. He did have a bad year. I don't know about his firing either. There are some that I definitely think deserve to be let go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Harbaugh or Stefanski deserve to be let go. Stefanski had his pick of a couple, too.
Yeah.
How does he do in Atlanta?
It's going to depend on the development of a quarterback. They've got a young guy there that's had some injury. They're not sure about him. But, the name of the game in our league right now is you got to have good, solid quarterback play to win. So we'll see if they can get the right weapons around for him to work with in Atlanta. I thought Atlanta finished the year really strong. So we'll see. I agree with you. I think he just was playing at a disadvantage at Cleveland, and whoever takes that job is going to be at a disadvantage, unfortunately. But I think he can do well in Atlanta.
It almost seems like, though, Atlanta are good coaches go to die. I don't know. We shall see. Last thing, real quick. I didn't prep you on this, but I got to ask you because I know you're going to watch tonight. Miami, Indiana. Indiana's a 7.5-point favorite, down from 8. It's in Miami where the Hurricanes play, which is there's only 2 schools that could happen for. Is Miami and UCLA, to be honest, and it just so happens that the Hard Rock was the place they were going to play no matter what, and Miami snuck in. A lot of people didn't think they would even make the playoff. It shouldn't make the playoff. Notre Dame should have been there. Instead, your thoughts about what happens tonight?
Miami surprised me. I did not know. They kind of flew under the radar with me. I didn't realize that team was that good on offense and defense. So I'll be pulling for them, but I think Indiana's the best team in the country, and I think they'll win the game.
I do too.
Yeah.
Going to be fun to watch, that is for certain. As always, a pleasure. Next week, we're going to talk about, he's an author, folks. We're going to find out more about the teas coming your way right now. Thank you.
Thanks,
we appreciate it. Jeff, brought to you in part by ATC Fitness. He's always fit. ATC Fitness, 18 locations. It's a local family-owned business. They've been around forever. It's always clean as a whistle in there. They always have the latest in equipment. Whatever is new when it comes to getting fit and equipment, they've got the state-of-the-art. And never closes, 24/7, never a contract. No processing, nothing like that. It's the best place to go get fit for the new year. Exercise your right to look good. Head on over to ATC Fitness. We take a break. When we come back, it's time for Landon and I to give out the medals, good and bad.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I hope your new year has started out in a great way. I think we're all relieved when the holidays are over and life returns to normal. And normal means that special gift-giving occasions always roll around. Over the last 5 decades, we at Russell Brothers have helped thousands of Memphians turn those special occasions into truly memorable celebrations when a small box of exquisite jewelry from Russell Brothers is opened. Beauty, quality, value, and service are what we have offered to our friends and customers for so many years, and all of that is wrapped together in the stunning jewelry you'll find at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Whether you're looking for a very important piece of jewelry for a big occasion, or perhaps just a trendy, whimsical piece to make her smile, we can help you. Remember, beauty, quality, value, and service are our offerings to you every day for every occasion. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, The Rendezvous.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We got medals coming your way in a second, brought to you by Southern Security, where they offer the lowest rates, flexible terms, no PMI, best service, I promise you. Are you getting the lowest rate on your mortgage? They can offer the lowest rates because they are not for profit. And so easy to become part of the family. Go to southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900. Southern Security's your home team credit union. The best credit union in Memphis the last 6 years, as voted by you guys and federally insured by NCUA. And the commissary is wide open and ready. Saw Walker Taylor out. He loves his new buffet. That's right. If you go to the commissary in Collierville, that's right there, Poplar and Houston Levy, they've got the big buffet, all you can eat. 3 proteins. There's always chicken and pork, 5 sides, a salad, and a drink for under $15.95. The commercial appeal did a tournament. It was easy. The commissary, both Germantown and Collierville, #1 barbecue in Memphis. You need to go see why. Because the commissary, with all their catering and everything else, always makes things special. It's time, and I got a whole bunch of them to give out some medals. I'm going to start with Kevin Durant, KD. He had 17 points for Houston in the win over New Orleans, but here's the big thing. He passed Dirk Nowitzki, #6 all-time scoring in the history of the NBA. 31,562 points in the association. That is quite an accomplishment. Chris Gutterup wins the Sony, shot a 64 yesterday. The third-year pro now has a third PGA Tour win. And AAC road teams, they get bronze medals from me. 5 of the 6 American games played yesterday, the road team won. Memphis was the only home team, the only host that held court. I got to give a silver medal to New England head coach Mike Vrabel, first-year turnaround. Wow, he was a player for the Pats. The Patriots won 15 of their last 16 games. Now they're the favorites to win the AFC Championship in 1 year. Mike Vrabel, fired by the Titans. Mike Vrabel has his team poised to make the Super Bowl. I got to give a silver medal to Sincere Parker. The Tiger guard had 22 points yesterday. That's his high in a Tiger uniform. When he played for St. Louis, he once had a game of 34 against St. Joseph. But I give him this medal partially because his focus has been outstanding. You know, he's got a court date. There's a lot of different outside forces that could distract him. He claims it's his teammates that have helped him focus and get through this. And yesterday was pretty impressive. So he gets a silver medal for me. Novak Djokovic, who you know has won the Australian Open 10 times. Yesterday, he won his 100th match. The Australian Open is I was looking for it yesterday. I couldn't find it, but it's up and going. So those are 3 silver medals, and I have 2 gold. 1 goes to Seattle, total domination over, we know, a good San Francisco team. It started with the opening kickoff, and they kept coming. And I think they're now the Super Bowl favorite. And then I got to give a gold to Ja. You know, I ripped Ja. Best ability of any athlete is availability. He hasn't had that. He's had a very poor attitude, petulant, immature. But he showed what he could do yesterday. 20 points and 10 assists and a half. He was the difference. There's no question. His presence, plus 26 in 28 minutes, that's the difference between the loss in Berlin and the win in London. He showcased himself. He upped his trade value if that's what's happening. But he also hinted, I don't want to go. So what are the Grizzlies going to do? That will be interesting to watch, but there's no doubt his performance yesterday, that deserved the gold medal.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. My first bronze, I'm giving to Memphis Tiger basketball, who took care of business against a bad UTSA team. But that's exactly what you want to see in these kind of games. You want to see the better team go out and handle business on the court, and that's exactly what they did. With a 26-point victory, like you mentioned earlier, took care of a lot of that in the second half, led by Doug McDaniel, and like you mentioned, more importantly, Sincere Parker with a great showing with 22 points. Tigers get a good home win in conference play, which is exactly what you need, especially at this point in the season. My other bronze, I'm only giving them a bronze just because I hate the way that it ended for you, Dave. But the Rams outlasting the Bears, it was not a pretty finish, but mainly this medal goes to Kyron Williams, who the stats only show he has 87 yards, 2 TDs, but in that game, he was the guy that got the Rams out of sticky situations, out of bad field position, whatever it was. You put the ball in his hands. Kyron Williams did really, really well on the ground game. Puka still had a great game. Devontae Adams had maybe one of the greatest sideline catches I've seen in a playoff performance, and just all year long. And then
if they didn't have slow mo, I would never have believed that was a catch.
No, not at all. Well, even in the slow mo, I was questioning. I was like, well, both of his feet came off the ground. I'm not sure about that, but I believe they made the right call on the field. But man, that was definitely one of the more interesting games that ended the way that it did. My first silver medal goes to the Bills and Broncos games that turned out to be a good game that ended with a controversial call. People claiming that was a catch. People claiming no, that was a catch that turned into immediately a fumble, interception, whichever way you want to call it.
I think interception is how that was ruled.
Yeah, it certainly was. But however you want to look at it, I mean, Bo Nix delivered a good game. Only 1 interception and 279 yards and 3 TDs. He leads them to the AFC Championship, which unfortunately he's now going to be out for the rest of the season. But I'm already seeing a lot of posts saying that the Patriots seem to struggle with backup QBs. If you want to look back to Super Bowl 52 when Nick Foles came in and just completely ran all over the Patriots, and that was with Tom Brady. So I don't necessarily believe that's going to happen again with Jarrett Stidham. Maybe they go a different direction. I know that they've signed Ben DiNucci to their practice squad. Don't know what he's going to do in comparison to all of these things, but hey, maybe the Broncos still have a path. They still got 2 aspects of the game to do that. And speaking of the Patriots, Drake May, which I've learned what was his name? Can't believe I'm blanking on it. Dennis mentioned that was his nickname, is his name, and that basically just means that you're the guy, that you're the man of the team. He didn't wow in yardage in that game, but a 3-touchdown performance is always going to go a long way.
Yeah, especially when your counterpart's throwing 4 picks.
Yeah, and we'll save that for Rust here in just a little bit. But Kayshon Boutte has been added to the list of this season of some of the greatest catches that we have ever seen, with his one-hand catch in the end zone to put him up 28-16. That looked really, really good. And I've got 2 goals. The first one is going to Ja, like you mentioned, but I'm also giving it to Jock Landale, who has just been playing fantastic for the Grizzlies all year. And I think my biggest takeaway from that game was seeing that it looked like Ja was having fun. He was out there smiling, putting on the moves, making shots. It looked like he was enjoying basketball again, and that, unfortunately, that's not a lot of what we see out of Ja, so it was great to witness him, at least on the court, looking like he was having a good time. And then, once again, there's winning, and then there's dominating, and that's exactly what the Seahawks did. The Seahawks didn't even need a single offensive possession to win this game against the 49ers. They took care of it on special teams with Rashid Shaheed taking the 95-yard kickoff to open the game for the touchdown, getting an interception on defense. I mean, everything that they did was incredible all the way through.
We both had the same goals. That's impressive.
We did.
We get to the Rust in a second, brought to you by Sheldon, who's the best real estate point guard in town. You know it's Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. If you said it was him, you were 100% correct. Most people call him Sheldon because when you're selling your home, he gets the job done. So you better call him. That's simple. He's been doing it a long time, and he knows some stuff about marketing and positioning your property to get the most money and the quickest way to get it. He may also be known as Mr. Three-Putt, but there's nothing better than hitting the three-point shot. That means getting to the closing table and knowing his clients are happy and satisfied. So if you or you know somebody who's thinking about selling their home, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers. Just make sure he's one of them. He'll wow you, I promise. Call him, 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. First, Russ goes to the NBA. MLK Day should be in Memphis every year. They're the ones that started it. I think they're shifting things toward Atlanta. I don't know why. I don't know if that's the King family that wants that, but Civil Rights Museum is here, and it started here. It should be here. Shame on the NBA for not doing it. Rush to the Big Ten and the SEC. They got till Friday. They are not close to getting it done. I think the Big Ten has said, we'll do 16 if you promise in 5 years we go to 24. If that's it, let's do it. Just make sure the group of 6 gets a seat at the table. And then the Russ to C.J. Stroud, 4 interceptions while Drake May threw 3 touchdowns. And C.J. Stroud had a bad playoff game in the first round. Tough for that guy. He gets a rust for yesterday.
Yeah, I have a rust for C.J. Stroud as well. In the last 2 games, he's thrown 5 interceptions along with 5 fumbles from last week's game. A really bad showing from him. And in that same token, I hate to do it, but you can't throw 2 picks, fumble the ball 3 times, and expect to come out with a win, and that's exactly what Josh Allen did. You lose the turnover battle, you usually lose the game, and that's exactly what he teed up for him. My last rust, I'm giving to Ethan Evans, the punter for the Rams. When you're deep in your territory and your punt goes to the 50-yard line, giving the Bears incredible field position, that's not what you want. And then to the play that sent it to overtime, Kobe Durant, who had a great game that entire day, stumbles or just gave up on the play. I'm not entirely sure what happened on that completed catch to Cole Kmet, but for him to kind of almost seemingly give up on that play, bad showing from the Rams. I think they were lucky to edge that one out.
I think he might have been shoved a little bit by Kmet.
Well, I was looking at the replay, and it seems that he stumbled over his feet before and lunged forward and then just gave up. So I don't know.
It makes for one of the greatest throw and catches in the history of playoff football.
I thought that ball was going out of bounds.
I did. It was unbelievable.
It was crazy.
Those are our medals, good and bad. They're brought to you by Landers Cadillac of Memphis. Have you gone and seen the new remodeled Landers right there on Poplar Avenue? I promise you, if you go, you will be wowed. And they still have some great savings on the remaining 2024 Escalades, $20,000 in total savings if you get the brand new 24 Escalade. They're paying top dollar for trades there, too. They always do. You know it's Landers. Don't miss out on exceptional, still grand opening offers, because the best new Cadillac models always sell fast. So go and tell them we sent you. And remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much. That does it for us. The usual lineup tomorrow. Can't wait for that. More. We'll recap a national championship, finally, in college football. We'll see. Can't wait for Indiana and Miami. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great MLK